Animal friends. Chapter 1, Artie's Lesson. Mike Drake was the night custodian at Riverside School. Each night he cleaned and mopped all the classrooms. Mike liked to eat his snack in room 4. While he ate, Mike taught Artie to talk. Artie was a parakeet who lived in room 4. Mike gave Artie a lesson every night. "Hello, Artie," Mike said. He seized the cover of the parakeet's cage and pulled it off. "Your friend Mike is here. How are you, my pretty bird?" Mike always interrupted Artie's sleep. Artie woke up and looked around. "Artie, are you ready for your lesson?" Mike said. "Okay," said Artie. He hopped onto his swing. "You are a pretty bird," said Mike. "What is your name?" "R.T.," said Artie. Mike clapped. He loved to hear Artie talk. Mike opened the cage door so that Artie could hop out onto his finger. "Hey, Artie, who is your furry friend here?" Mike pointed to the hamster in the cage on the table. Ellen was the hamster that lived in room 4. "L.N.," said Artie. "Good job," said Mike. Ellen scrambled up on top of her cardboard home to listen. "What kind of eyes does Ellen have?" asked Mike. "B.D.," said Artie. "She has beady eyes. You are right," said Mike. "What kind of brain does Ellen have?" "M.T.," said Artie. "That's right. Ellen's brain is as empty as a pocket. She is not very smart," said Mike. Ellen hopped down on her wood shavings on the floor of her cage. She started to dig. "Look," said Mike. "Ellen rebuilds her nest over and over. That's all she does." Mike put Artie on his shoulder. "I have a harder question for you, Artie. Listen. What is another word for boring?" "T.D.S.," said Artie. "Tedious. That's right," said Mike. Ellen made a little snort with her nose. "I am very bored right now," Ellen thought. "What is another word for sneaky?" Mike asked. "D.V.S.," Artie said. "That's right, devious," said Mike. "Artie, you are so smart." Mike gave Artie some of his apple. Then he put the bird on his shoulder and mopped the floor. Finally, Mike returned Artie to the swing in his cage. Mike pulled the cover down over Artie's cage. Then he picked up his mop and bucket and left the room. Chapter 2, Ellen's Plan. Ellen jumped back up onto her cardboard box after Mike left. Artie looked at her through a little hole in his cover. "Do you think my head is really empty?" Ellen asked. "Who is smarter, me or you?" "You are," said Artie. Ellen walked back and forth. She was angry. "I do not mean to sound like I am boasting, but who knows how to make popcorn in the microwave? And who knows how to open a lunchbox? Who knows how to multiply numbers?" Ellen asked. "You," said Artie. "You do." Artie chuckled. Then he said, "Mike isn't a bad guy, Ellen. He just doesn't like your sharp little teeth. He is afraid you might bite him." "I am not going to bite him," said Ellen, "but I might surprise him." Ellen giggled. "Artie, I have a plan. Tomorrow night when Mike comes, let's interrupt your lesson by talking to each other. Ellen, you are so devious, said Artie. Mike is going to be so surprised. The next night, Mike and Artie were having their usual conversation. What kind of brain does Ellen have? Asked Mike. I know you want me to say M-T, Mike, but Ellen is really smart, said Artie. What did you say? Mike asked. Ellen knows a lot. She can name the 50 states in alphabetical order. She can read and write. She even knows math. Mike shook his head in surprise. Ellen is smarter than me, Artie said. Listen to this. Ellen, what is 3 times 3? 9, said Ellen. What is 2 times 8? Asked Artie. 16, Ellen said. Ellen smiled at Mike. Her little teeth looked sharp. Her eyes were bright. Mike stared at her. What is 7 times 5? Asked Artie. 35, said Ellen. Now do you understand? Asked Artie. Isn't Ellen amazing? Mike nodded his head. He was still too surprised to speak. Are you okay, Mike? Maybe you should sit down, said Artie. Mike sat down. His hand shook as he opened the door to Ellen's cage. Ellen walked out onto the table. Hello, it is very nice to meet you, Ellen said. I'm sorry that we were sneaky and surprised you. It was not nice of us. Finally, Mike could speak. I was very surprised, he said. You must wonder why we did not talk to you before now, said Artie. Before you gave me lessons, I could not talk very well. I had no idea that Ellen could talk. Until you started working here, Ellen and I were never awake at the same time. That is right, said Ellen. I am nocturnal. Artie is diurnal. Artie looked at Ellen. I remember hearing those words in science class, but I don't remember what they mean. A nocturnal animal is awake at night. A diurnal animal is awake during the day, said Ellen. So you and Mike are both nocturnal, Artie said. Mike and Ellen laughed. I guess you're right, said Mike. I work at night. Mike shared his snack with Artie and Ellen. They both talked to him while he worked. Ellen talked about information posted on the current events bulletin board in room 4. Artie flew from the teacher's desk to the light. Mike finished his work. Then he put Ellen and Artie back in their cages. Sleep well, pretty bird, Mike said. He covered Artie's cage. Okay, said Artie. Mike picked up his bucket and mop. Good night, Miss Bright Eyes, he said to Ellen. See you tomorrow, said Ellen. Animal friends.